Did you miss Nanaimo City Council last night? Want to know what happened with the Colliery Dams? Want to know what the progress is on a potential hotel for the Vancouver Island Conference Centre? Find out today by watching Go. On today's show, finding passion for the water. Again, a Nanaimo woman is going to the Nationals. Dandelion Heartwork in Lanceville and a road trip to the District of Hope. That and more in the next 30 minutes. You are watching Go Island on Shaw TV Channel 4. I'm Kate Bergen. Before we get into conversation with Nanaimo Mayor John Ruttan about the Colliery Dams and the cruise ship season, and last but not least, a potential hotel for the Vancouver Island Conference Centre, we're going to introduce you to a 40-year-old woman who started swimming many years ago, stopped it for various reasons, and then after 6 months is reaching brand new heights in a swimming career because she's just such a natural. Here now with that story is our volunteer reporter, Tally Campbell.
That staff proceed with immediate removal of the lower and middle Chase River dams and take the necessary steps to build replacement dams for the lower and middle dams, and ensure that the lower dam can be used for hydroelectric generation.
I'll second that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor? We have Councillor Brennan, Councillor Greaves, Mayor Ruttan, Councillor Anderson, you're up, and Councillor Johnson in favor. Opposed? We have Councillor Patchy, Councillor Kipp, Councillor Bestwick, and Councillor McKay. The motion passes. And we'll move on now into delegations pertaining to the 2013-2017 financial plan. Well, we're just going around in circles, Jim. So,
That was an excerpt from a very lively council meeting in Chambers on Monday night. You're watching Go Island on Shaw TV Channel 4. Those were Save the Colliery Dam people disappointed in the motion to remove the dams sooner rather than later, something that Mayor John Ruttan says is a must-do. There's no option. Those dams had to come out.
well, that's true. Everyone understood, and I think was largely agreed, that the dams could not be remediated. They could not be repaired in the present configuration. The dams, in any event, have to come down.
Now, there were 4 councillors against taking them down and waiting until next year. Is
Well,
that correct?
but I think the important thing is that all of council understood that it had to come down.
Right. It was
So
a matter
it wasn't
of
a
when.
matter whether they could stay or go down. They had to be brought down. The issue was timing, and I think 4 other councillors, 5 of us, voted to take them down immediately, because remember that what started this whole issue was the concern for public safety.
How hard is it to make a decision that is so vocally unpopular within a certain segment of the community? I don't envy your job for a second in that regard.
It is challenging, and people are very emotional about these things. They're in some cases very angry, and we have to decide on what we feel is the best decision to make. And I think last night rather, we made that, and the dams will come down, and then staff will put together a report and come back and make a determination on how to proceed with rebuilding. So yes, I think I could see the anger if the dams were gone for good and never returned, but it's my understanding that the dams will come back. I don't have a time frame on it, and I think that's what the majority of council seem to feel will be happening too. So,
And I know here on Go Island we're going to be doing a feature story that you can see on the air Thursday, Friday, later this week on the Colliery Dam. And one of the things that we're going to say in that story is that the debate isn't over. Now we can all argue about what they're going to look like, how much is that going to cost, and when is that going to happen.
Exactly, that's it. It's not over, and so lots of issues still. But I think we're going in the right direction, and I know that once the dams are in place, it's sort of short-term pain and long-term gain, because I think once the dams are in place and they're safe and secure and the risk is mitigated, the area can be rehabilitated in a very short order, I think, and hopefully we'll see what happens. But again, safety is the concern.
John, thank you.
Okay.
We're going to come back and we're going to talk about some movement and some progress on a potential hotel next to the Vancouver Island Conference Centre after a short break right here on Go. Still ahead today on Go Island, shopping with heart in Lanceville, the Army Cadets in Port Alberni, and chainsaw carvings in Hope. All that and more still to come today on Go Island. You are watching Go Island on Shaw TV Channel 4. We will continue our conversation with Nanaimo Mayor John Ruttan, something that we've begun doing a few weeks ago. Following every Monday's council meeting, we'll have a bit of a recap and a review with the mayor and potentially some staff of the city as well. Before we get to more conversation with John Ruttan, though, we're going to throw things over to Kelly Robinson because, well, she's doing what most women like to do. It's shopping, but it's shopping with a purpose and with heart. Suddenly I want to go shopping. It doesn't take much. Thanks, Kelly. You're watching Go Island on Shaw TV Channel 4. Another big thing to come out of the council meeting on Monday night was a presentation from a company proposing a hotel next to the Vancouver Island Conference Centre. That particular company specializes in youth travel services.
Youth travel. Suzhou Travel Service from Suzhou, China. And so it's pretty exciting. It was a great presentation. And I think what particularly interested me was that it actually addressed and answered a lot of the concerns that we've had in the community. Specifically height. They envisioned a building of 17 stories. The previous one was talking about a 33-story building. So you get shadows and some of the other issues that are raised. But I think the most important one is that they intend to bring, because they're the largest youth travel service in China, they intend to bring students, Chinese students over. They've entered into an agreement with VIU. And they want to bring the students over and stay in their own hotel. So, I mean, they not only have a travel service, if they have a hotel, it's kind of a win-win situation. The one small concern we had is, are they going to be so successful, and they're talking in terms of 70,000 travelers a year.
Coming to Nanaimo.
Coming to Nanaimo, 70,000. And the concern is, will there be any remaining capacity in our conference center hotel?
Which is the whole point of having a
exactly
hotel there, of course.
Otherwise,
if it's always full, it's not doing any good.
That's what it's all about. So, but they assured me that it can be done, and they envision having the conferences booked longer in advance, the tours maybe a shorter time, and they'll try to work the schedule around the various events, and they're comfortable they can do it.
Would that be something that's actually contracted into an agreement with them, or is that
No,
something that's like your good word is good?
Well, your good word is good. I think they can generate huge numbers, and some of the numbers they were mentioning last night was unbelievable. 400,000 people a day in their travel service. So it's a massive company. And the important thing for Nanaimo is that it addresses the concern that the Nanaimo Hotel Association had, and that is that if you don't bring another source of people to stay in the hotel, you're going to be draining away from the existing hotels. Occupancy isn't what people want it to be in the hotel operators, and so they're concerned that a new hotel will simply draw from them. This particular plan eliminates that, because they're going to have their own clientele coming over from China, and these will be people that normally would never come to Nanaimo. So it's a new source of people, a new source of investment, a tie-in with Vancouver Island University, and I think really it's a pretty exciting win-win all the way around.
And what's the next step, and how long before, if all goes well, we would actually see something taking place on the site there? Because we've had a few runs at it, and people are maybe a little gun-shy now, not too...
Yeah. Well, we're not gun-shy. You know,
not
that,
too hopeful or
heaven forbid.
faithful or a little bit
No,
discouraged.
but you get a little bit nervous. But as time progresses, I mean, this particular one seems to have very few flaws in it. And so now it's left that our staff will be negotiating with the principals of the hotel, come up with a memorandum of MOU, memorandum of understanding, and see if both sides can work together, and that the finished plan is something that everyone understands. So it's exciting. I'm really excited, because I think this addresses our need, and it addresses everything we wanted for the downtown, and that's the important part.
Is there more information available to the public? There's obviously the city council meeting from Monday night streamed online, and they can look up the company, and they can probably go onto the city's website
and they
do some research.
Pick it
and
up that
things
way.
like that. Okay, we're getting a beep in the background because we're trying to be good today and stay on time. We're going to throw things up to Port Alberni now. Jenny Fortin is spending some time with the Army cadets. You're watching Go Island on Shaw TV Channel 4. I'm Kate Bergen. Summer, it feels like it's here, but it's actually late spring. With it comes cruise ship season. John Ruttan, we're kind of hurrying him through the show today because he's got a pretty special event. You're going to have lunch on the Jewel.
On the Jewel.
Cruise ship in the harbor right now.
I think the significance is that this is the maiden voyage of the Jewel, Norwegian NCL ship, the Jewel, into Nanaimo. And there's always a tradition that goes on. The Port of Nanaimo presents it with a plaque. and they've asked me to join them on board, and the captain very graciously invited us to stay for lunch. So
Very nice.
yes, I'm looking
Very
forward to it.
nice. I've been telling him I'm jealous all morning. Now, there was a cruise ship, a different one in on the weekend. Annette Lucas did a story on that, and it is a busy season, and that's good for Nanaimo, obviously.
Very good for Nanaimo. We expect something like 4,000 people will come ashore over this 7-day period, and that's huge. This season we're going to have 9 cruise ships, 7 major ships, and 2 pocket cruise ships. And you know, the stats are looking good for next year. We're hoping next year to have somewhere between 10 and 12, and maybe slightly more depending on how the economy fares through. So we'll see. But it's an exciting time, and the important thing is to try to give the people, when they come to Nanaimo, a real experience. And I think that Nanaimo offers that. It's a nice lifestyle. That's why we're all here. So I think if we can just demonstrate to people what we've got and what we've got to show them, they're going to take some longer trips. They're going to go to Cathedral Grove. They're going to go perhaps into Port Alberni to see the mill there. But all in all, we welcome them all. It's
Excellent.
a great season.
Thank you. Many things to do in Nanaimo for cruise ship visitors, not just a one-stop, one-site tourist destination, and neither is the Hope Chainsaw Carvings. That's the destination of our next road trip. Although there are many websites that feature some of the carvings, there is not one collective site that features them all. If you want to do that, you'll have to visit the District of Hope's website, and there you can get a map and you can check out all of the carvings for yourself. That brings us to the end of this edition of Go Island. Thank you so much for watching. If you have ideas and you'd like us to host the show from your location, spend some time with you and your event, you can email me, kate.bergen@sjrb.ca. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.